Hi, it's Indira from yogawithindira.co.uk. In this month's video, we're going to be looking at some core exercises that you can do. So I think a lot of us would probably, if we're being totally honest, like to have a trimmer middle, maybe be, I don't know, even have a washboard stomach. For most of us, that's probably not a realistic goal. In all honesty, having a strong core is nothing to do with aesthetics. You can be very slim and have a very weak core, and you can be a bit bigger and have a very, very strong core. If you look at some of the pictures of, the really well-known yogis, such as Iyengar, he certainly didn't have a washboard stomach, but he was incredibly strong. So the exercises that I'm going to show you today, they're to help strengthen your core, and the idea of strengthening your core is really to help with your posture, your alignment, and crucially to help with your back, because the stronger your core is, the more protection you have for your back. If there's no strength here, then your back is taking a lot of the strain. So when we talk about the core in yoga, we're not just talking about your abs, we're also talking about the pelvic floor. So for women, in all the exercises that we're doing, you need to draw your belly up and in as if you're zipping up a pair of jeans. You're narrowing the hip points and you're also lifting from below. And if you're a guy, you also need to lift from below as well as activating the stomach muscles. So remember to do that in all of the exercises that we do. And in fact, you should be doing that throughout your practice. Okay, so we're going to start on all fours. So I would start with the hands wide, the fingers spread wide, arms vertical. And so you need to draw your belly up and in, lift from below, and then we're going to extend the right leg behind us, tuck the toes under, firm the front of the thigh. So the leg is really strong, and keeping the core active and the chest lifted away from the mat, we're just going to lift the left knee. So it might not look that taxing, but believe me, it's pretty strong. And then you can bring that down, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So you're extending your left leg behind you, again, same process, and lifting the right knee, and take it down. So then we're just going to come back and sit on our heels, or you can come into any comfortable seated position. So with some of the work that we're going to be doing, it's going to feel like there's quite a lot of weight in the hands and the wrists. So it makes sense to just try and warm up the wrists a little bit, or do stretches with the wrists in between. But ideally, if your core is working properly, it shouldn't feel like there's too much weight there. Okay, so back onto all fours. We're going to extend the right leg behind us again. We're going to do a position known as bird dog. So same as before, front of the thigh is firm, the core is active, and then you're going to extend the left arm, so opposite arm, and then you're going to lift the back leg. Now the mistake that a lot of people make in this pose is that they lift the leg way too high, the hips come out of alignment, they get very wobbly and unstable. It's really not necessary. Okay, and in fact it's better to just lift the foot a little bit, keep the hips in alignment, keep your neck in line with the spine, so don't drop and hang the head. And then we'll bring it down, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so you can do these exercises as many times as you want, maybe do a few repetitions. So another variation is that you're going to lift the leg and the opposite arm, and then slowly bring the knee and the elbow towards each other. So they don't actually have to touch. And then slowly take it back out again. So you're keeping your core active the whole time, trying to keep the hips in alignment. So don't move too quickly. So you can do that a few times on each side. I'm only doing it once just to demonstrate. So again, moving slowly, take your time, and come back out again. So what I often see in my classes is that people move way too quickly, and it's kind of like this, it's uncontrolled. So you're better off doing fewer but doing them properly. So those are a few exercises you can do to get your core active. And then in between, as I say, you may want to stretch out the wrists. So quite often I'll turn my fingers in towards me and just rock backwards and forwards a little bit. And then turning the hands the other way, turn the back of one hand on the floor, rock backwards and forwards. Other side. Okay, so now we're going to do side plank. So for side plank, we'll start, because of the way I'm positioned, by extending the left leg behind, turn the foot to the side, bring the foot flat, and then you're going to lift the left arm, okay? So you're lifting from below and engaging your core, and it shouldn't feel like there's too much weight in the wrist. Okay, and take it down, and then you would do the same thing on the other side. So remember to engage your stomach muscles, lift from below. Maybe you can turn to look up at the hand and take it down, and then maybe circle the hips a few times in each direction. And then for Vasisthasana, or full side plank, you've got a number of options. So you can extend that leg behind you again, turn the foot to the side, and then maybe bring the bottom foot, so the right foot, over the top like so, and then take the arm up and bring it down again. Or you can try and stack the feet one on top of the other. So it really just depends where you are in your practice and how strong a workout you want. And take it down, and of course we do the same thing on the other side. And then again, just stretching out the wrists and interlacing the fingers, just rotating the wrists. So I just want to have a quick look at plank. Now, plank is a pose which, as it's part of the sun salutation sequence, it's a pose that's done quite a lot, and it's very easy to do it wrong, to do it incorrectly, and when you do it incorrectly, it really doesn't feel good, and it can actually lead to a bit of wear and tear. So with plank pose, have your hands nice and wide. Your arms should be vertical, so they shouldn't be too far forwards. And then you're tucking the toes under, pushing the heels away as if you're pushing your heels into the wall behind you. And again, engaging your stomach muscles, lifting from below, so engaging the pelvic floor. So the sort of most common mistakes in this pose are failure to really engage the stomach muscles, so there's sagging here, or just collapsing here. Okay, so lifting away, staying really active in the pose, and then bringing the knees down, and then we'll just finish off with Navasana, boat pose. So boat pose is quite a strong pose when you do the full pose, but there are different variations. So this is half boat, where your feet are in line with your knees. So you can either hold on to the backs of your thighs or take your arms out in front. So try not to lean back too much. And you can hold that for as long as you feel comfortable. Or you can extend your legs up, hold on to the backs of the thighs, pushing your thighs into your hands, or the other way round. Maybe take your arms out in front. And again, hold that for as long as you feel comfortable. And then finally, I would finish off with some twists, starting in half boat. So the idea with these twists is that you move very slowly with control, moving from the core. So just twisting once to the right and back to centre, and then slowly over to the other side. And slowly back to centre. And then you can hug your knees in. So again, it might not look particularly demanding, but if you do it properly, doing it once to each side is plenty, but you might be able to build that up to 2 or 3, but what you want to avoid doing is just this, okay? You're not going to get much benefit from doing it that way. And then when you've finished, you can bring your feet onto the floor and do a relaxed Baddha Konasana or cobbler's pose where the soles of the feet are touching, knees apart, and that's just quite a nice stretch for the stomach muscles after all that hard work.